Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
Saint Anne laborer charged after Brownstone Market shooting. A Saint Anne laborer was charged after he reportedly shot and injured two men in Brownstone Market on Saturday, May 6, 2022. Charged with 2 counts of wounding with intent, illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition, is 30-year-old Bernardo Brown of Searchdown in Saint Anne. Reports are that around 6:30 a.m., Brown entered the market with a firearm and opened gunfire, hitting 2 men multiple times. The police were alerted and the men were transported to hospital, where they were admitted. An investigation was launched and Brown was arrested. He was charged following a question and answer interview. His court date is being finalized. Golden to choose Lisa Hanna's replacement in Southeast St. Anne. People's National Party President Mark Golden will choose Lisa Hanna's replacement in Southeast St. Anne after none of the 3 candidates yesterday got over 50% of votes required to win selection. General Secretary Dayton Campbell provided the update. Some 778 delegates voted. Dr. Kenneth Russell, 358, Wavel Hines, 245, Patricia Duncan Sutherland, 171, rejected 4 ballots. The PNP Constitution empowers the party leader to select representatives. Hannah, a 4th-term member of Parliament, announced last year that she will not be contesting the next general election constitutionally due by September 2025. Chang says death of 8-year-old a tragedy, extreme act of brutality. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang, along with Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson and representatives of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Chaplaincy Unit, visited the family of Daniela Rowe on Sunday to show support following the death of the 8-year-old in hospital. Rowe was abducted from school in Portmore, St. Catherine last Thursday and was later thrown from a car with her throat slashed in Vineyard, St. Andrew. Passerbys reportedly found the girl and took her to hospital, where she was undergoing treatment before succumbing to her injuries on Saturday. Minister Chang stated that all elements of the police are involved in tracking down those responsible for the young girl's death, while describing the incident as a tragedy but an extreme act of brutality. All the investigative teams are on and taking advantage of all the technology that is available to ensure we can find the perpetrator, and we will not rest until we can find and bring them to justice and bring closure to the issue, which will help the family to at least get through this painful time, Chang stated. In a release on Saturday, the police stated that a cross-divisional investigation has been launched between the St. Andrew Central and the St. Catherine South police divisions. They reported that several lines of inquiry into the events that led to Rowe's death are being followed. It was also revealed that Rowe is the daughter of a serving member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. During the visit to the family's home in Portmore, St. Catherine, Dr. Chang gave assurances that professional counseling will be provided for the family, especially to Daniela's siblings, who are ages 16 and 4. We will ensure that they will not be only there shortly, but in the medium term, the kind of professional counseling which will be required for the family will be provided. I think elements of the JCF chaplaincy service will be going to the school and working with the school, Chang further stated. He continued, "We are going to work and do whatever is required to give support and find the perpetrator." St. Andrew siblings appeal murder sentence in death of mother and her children. The St. Andrew woman and her brother, who admitted to murdering a mother and 2 young children amid a tragic love triangle in 2018, believe their sentences of 36 years in prison before parole were too harsh and are seeking a reduction. At the same time, the coroner submitted that the judge erred in determining the starting point in relation to the first count, the mother's murder, and has asked that the pre-parole period be adjusted to 29 years. Jamila Leslie, a 32-year-old former qualified control inspector, and her brother, Javon Leslie, a 31-year-old construction worker, were sentenced in 2019 after pleading guilty to the stabbing death of Kashif Jackson, 36, and the murder of her week-old daughter, Arasan Williams, and her 23-month-old son, Avatar Williams, both of whom died after their house was set ablaze. The bodies of the 3 victims were found on July 18 inside their burnt-out home in Mavis Bank, St. Andrew. Jackson, who had received multiple stab wounds to the face, chest, abdomen, arms, and neck, died from the wound to the neck and smoke inhalation. The children also died from smoke inhalation. The siblings were given 3 life sentences for the murders, but were ordered to serve 36 years in prison before parole for Jackson's murder and 21 years for the children. They were also sentenced to 10 years for the larceny. While the sentence is set to run at the same time, the siblings are only to serve 36 years behind bars. The Leslies, however, have appealed their sentences on the ground that they were manifestly excessive. The matter was heard 3 days last week in the Court of Appeal, but the judges, Justices Frank Williams, Marcia Dunbar Green, and Nicole Foster Pusey, have reserved their ruling. According to the facts garnered from the siblings' caution statement, at the time of the incident, Jamila Leslie was involved in an intimate relationship with Jackson's common-law husband, 42-year-old farmer Artine Williams, who was the father of the 2 deceased children. He had also fathered a child with Jamila Leslie. Before the incident, Jamila Leslie received information that Arnell Williams and Jackson were involved and that they had moved in together after the birth of their second child. Williams had also come clean to Jamila Leslie about the situation. According to Jamila Leslie, who had been supporting Williams and her son financially, said she became the subject of jeers by community members as a result. She also stated that Jackson had sent her several threats. Consequently, on the night of the incident, she and her brother went to Jackson's home, where he both attacked and stabbed her several times. Then they removed the children from the bed and lit the mattress, locked the door, and left. However, Jamila Leslie said it was not her intention to burn down the house and kill the children, as she thought persons on the other side of the building would have rescued them. The woman, following the sentence, has expressed regret and remorse over her actions and had asked for forgiveness. Her brother, in his social inquiry report, expressed similar sentiments. According to him, he experienced crying spells and sleepless nights and has been reading his Bible to try to cope with his guilt. Javon Leslie said he was depending on God to carry him through the horrors of his action. Attorney at law Sanjay Simit represented him, while Andrea Walters represented his sister. Simit told reporters that both made similar submission, in which they argued that the sentence was reasonable, given that 2 infants were killed in the attack, but that the siblings should have been given greater discount, considering that they had indicated their guilt from the outset and they were sentenced as a result should be reduced. According to Simit, the court should consider giving his client the maximum discount of 33, 1/3 of the early plea guilty, or greater weight on that as a mitigating factor. Simit also argued that the sentence structure used by the judge was unusual and that it departed from the norm in that higher sentence is not usually imposed on the first count. He submitted that the starting point should have been 18 years and not 30 years. The Crown, in its submission, argued that the sentences from other charges except for Jackson's murder were within range and appropriate and has asked the court to affirm the sentences. However, it disagreed with the judge's starting point at 30 years for Jackson's murder and proposed that the sentence be adjusted to 30 years to life.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.